Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. Now, in order for him to start getting access to different executive departments and having his transition team starting to work with the Biden administration for this nice, easy handoff of government, he has to fill out some paperwork. And a lot of a lot of this comes off of a legislative act passed titled the Presidential Transition Act, which was kind of boosted up actually in 2019 under the Trump administration. Okay, and this Presidential Transition Act highlights that an incoming president has to highlight a plan for him to deal with his potential conflicts of interest. And a lot, and if not a majority, a vast majority of the people Trump has indicated to be tapped to go into his executive branch have signed these papers. Trump has not. Trump has not indicated any way in which he plans on dealing with his conflict of interest, but he has said that he is not going to divest from any of his assets, and he will not be placing his assets into a blind trust.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can the people who have signed the documents that are going to be part of Trump's like incoming administration, are they able to start the process even though he isn't?
No.
So he needs to sign it.
He needs to sign it before they are allowed to start communicating with the people currently operating the levers of government right now.
Got it.
And this is important because the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, they're a nonpartisan watchdog, okay, and they identified 3,400 cases of conflict of interest with Trump during his first administration. Okay,
3,400.
3,400 cases of conflict of interest, whether it be him hosting people inside of his hotels or taking people to his golf resorts or his restaurants.
Like the Emiratis and the Saudis, I think, like paid him a lot of money during, or his companies a lot of money during his presidency.
They would just pay to like have his rooms reserved and then not put anybody in the rooms.
Yeah.
Like, this is so blatantly corrupt. It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
It's so funny. It's funny. It would be so funny if he didn't just win.
Yeah.
Right. So now, if he doesn't give over these documents and he doesn't specify how he's going to handle his conflicts of interest, okay, he will enter January 20th into the White House with no lead time, with no run-up, with no runway set before him. And that is just a train wreck for national security, first of all. But it's also just not good government. That's just going to be a hell of a controversial and confusing couple of weeks.
I have a completely anecdotal thing to add here.
Sure.
Today I happened to see a TikTok of Pete Davidson on a podcast talking about Trump when he was on SNL and was the host of SNL. And he was literally like, yeah, Trump really can't read, like doesn't want to read. And so all the lines, like he was like, I don't actually want to do this. I'm just going to say whatever I want. You guys good with that? And they're like, what? But the reason I bring that up and bring it back here is like maybe he just doesn't give a shit.
He probably doesn't.
He's like, yeah, when I get in there, someone else will handle this shit. They'll have to read all of it. They're going to be stressed out. I don't care.
He's also probably thinking like, I won. What are they going to do?
Exactly.
Like, I'm the president.
Yeah.
What are they going to do to me? I'm literally the president.
Which is exactly accurate. And it does make an act like this kind of silly to think about. Like it means that a president who is an institutionalist and who cares about coming off as one, like, of course, it'll set into place guidelines for what they have to do. But anyone who doesn't want to follow it is not going to face repercussions. He's not going to be like, we're talking about a law dictating what an incoming president has to do. You're not going to imprison him. You're not going to fine him. Like he's an incoming president.
Right. What are you going to do to him?
Yeah.
And then also, we're talking about the guy who tried to steal an election. You think he gives a shit about outlining his conflicts of interest?
Exactly.
He literally tried to subvert democracy and was proud of it. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's unreal, dude. It's unreal. I think it's also the double standard is huge. If Joe Biden was even a day late in signing this, because Trump is already 2 months late on this, 3 months late. He was supposed to sign this in September 1st or something, or 2 months late. Yeah, this is like a September 1st thing. Like it should have been happening for the last 2 months.
Nice.
This entire transition.
Okay.
And none of it has taken place.
Nice.
It should have already been happening for 2 months where they would have gotten national security briefing. None of that. No national security briefings, nothing. Okay.
Wow.
So okay. If Joe Biden were to do this for even 1 day late, you think that wouldn't be the top story on Fox News for 3 weeks? Dude?
Totally. But that's it's totally Trump's strategy. It would be the top story on Fox News because it would be by far the most controversial thing happening in a Biden administration.
So true.
But it is like number 50 on a list of anything happening with Trump.
We're talking about a guy who's going to build detention camps, right? And you think he cares about like how much money he's going to make through his hotel? You think he gives a shit what people think about him for that?
Not at all.
The dude is going to put people in camps, separate children from their parents. You think he cares if he gets a couple more monies from the Saudis and everyone knows? No, he doesn't give a shit.
Not at all.